What is strategy and why do we care about it? Before addressing the question, what is strategy, let's address the question, why do we care about it? The word strategy is often used glamorously in the field of business and other fields as well, such as politics. You might have heard the term political strategy. Okay. Managers in general spend a whole lot of time formulating organizational strategy, implementing organizational strategy, thinking about it, and talking about it. Often managers have to demonstrate their ability or capability to develop and formulate strategies for the organization and implement them. It is very essential for them to demonstrate these capabilities whenever they seek to get promoted in their organization. As well as for organizations, it's very consequential because organizations that can actually formulate and execute strategies in the right manner often tend to see growth, competitive advantages, while organizations that fail to formulate the right strategy or fail to implement the strategy devised see organizational failure, eventually might end up bankrupting themselves. So it is both consequential to managers as well as to organizations. Now that we've established that, strategy is an important aspect of business as well as for managers, let's move on to the term strategy. Professor Henry Mintzberg, who is a prominent researcher in the field of strategy or strategic management, who is currently teaching strategic management at University of McGill in Canada, terms strategy this way. It turns out that strategy is one of those words that we inevitably define in one way and yet we use it in another way. His words imply that strategy is very complex and cannot be simply defined or stated in few words. It is very complex because whenever we think of the word strategy, each of us will come up with a different word, and each of those words will have a unique, distinct, and important meaning associated with it. For example, let's look at 5 P's of strategy. The first one is most often strategy is interchangeably used with the term plan. Planning is one of the most essential aspects of strategy, but however that is not complete definition of strategy because planning is only one aspect, and without implementation strategy is incomplete. For example, if there is a situation, if there is an opportunity for organizations to have a plan on how they're actually going to capitalize on that particular opportunity. If there is a threat, they have to devise a plan on how they're going to overcome that. This is a part of strategic planning or strategic management. Okay, strategy as pattern. Some organizations have specific patterns in terms of, say for example, take an organization like Prada. Prada is known to take a simple functional item or a fashion accessory and add all the bells and whistles and make their consumers feel that they're worth being spent a huge sum of money on them. Selling a handbag for about $2,500 to $5,000 is quite expensive, or an enormous sum of money for a handbag when you actually look at the functionality aspect of it. However, they're known to convince their consumers that it is worth being paid for. Okay, that's pattern. Position. Each organization has to position its product or service at a different place within the market or within the industry as opposed to their competitors. For example, if you look at Walmart positions themselves as a organization that produces products that are at the lowest possible cost compared to their competitors. As opposed to that, if you actually look at Bose, the sound set device, or the manufacturing company that produces your headphones and speakers, okay, they position their product as a premium product that is worth paying a lot of money for the quality, okay, for the technological innovation and so forth. Okay, you position the product within an industry, and how you actually position, where you actually position your product is a part of strategy. Perspective, like individuals, organizations have perspectives. Some organizations take a different perspective compared to their competitors. For example, if you look at Apple, they always want their product to have that wow factor. Their consumers actually they try to impress their consumers and try to ensure that their consumers are excited about those products. However, when you actually look at Microsoft in contrast, there is not so much of excitement about those products, though there is a huge amount of utility for those products. There is no excitement when you actually look at a new product launched by Microsoft. That's their perspective about it. Ploy is nothing but a decoy, or trying to trick your opponent to do something. Or for example, a classic example of this would be Boeing and Airbus. Boeing, under the leadership of then CEO Alan Mulay, proposed that Boeing was going to venture into producing a super cruiser or a supersonic passenger aircraft, which pushed Airbus to respond, and Airbus responded by committing to a project of building world's largest passenger aircraft, A380. However, Boeing did not actually plan to produce a super cruiser because they never showed any interest in that particular product, or they just had a launch event and then they never followed up on it, or so I feel about it, or large members of the industry feel about it that way. However, neither Boeing nor Airbus will agree to this. However, as we see, the evidence suggests that Boeing ployed against Airbus to make them commit to a huge project. So strategy as plan, pattern, position, perspective, and ploy. Now coming to the textbook definition of strategy. Okay, when we put all these things together, so we arrive at this definition to some degree, but this is not a perfect definition, but we can live with it. A strategy is an integrated and coordinated set of commitments and actions designed to exploit core competencies and competitive advantage. So core competencies are capabilities that are unique to your organization or key to your organization, which often result in giving you a specific advantage over your competitors. Okay, core competencies often allow you to create value for your consumers. Okay, so it is choice of appropriate competitive alternatives and implementation of chosen alternatives. So if we combine these two things, you will notice that you're actually talking about integrated and coordinated set of commitments. So first, you're making a commitment to something. Okay, for example, here Walmart has committed itself to producing products or delivering products at everyday low prices. Okay, the alternative that they actually had was going for an exclusive product. However, they chose everyday low prices. That's the commitment that they've actually made to their consumers and to themselves. And now they have to design actions, okay, first to achieve that commitment. So how do they actually do it? They have to develop certain core competencies or competencies such as procurement from their sellers, okay, robust supply chain that will keep costs low, and the competitive advantage should be resulting in the lowest possible price for those products, or lowest price in the industry, okay, as opposed to consumers. And then probably to be profitable, they need economies of scale, such as selling in huge volume. Okay, so these are all coordinated set of actions to establish or to realize their commitment of everyday low prices. Okay, so sometimes we actually implement alternatives, two alternatives here. One alternative that you can actually talk of is what is the kind of commitment that they've made. One is to everyday low prices, or they could have actually chosen, they had an alternative to choose exclusive products or high-end products. However, they chose everyday low prices. Okay, and they have options too on how they actually arrive at this particular point of everyday low prices, either procuring from other manufacturers, producers, or they could actually produce their own products and sell products that are exclusively produced by them. They made a choice to procure, not to manufacture products, but to procure from someone else and put their resources into developing robust supply chain such that they're able to produce products or bring products to the shelf at the lowest possible price and to be profitable, produce or develop economies of scale. So that is strategy in brief for you. Integrated and coordinated set of commitments and actions designed to exploit core competencies and gain competitive advantage. The whole thing is about having an advantage in the marketplace and how you arrive at that point. Okay, it might include planning, patterns, deploying, whatnot. Okay, we'll discuss furthermore in the next video.